there she is. Well, I know that you guys are big time busy, so I appreciate you taking the time, but I think that people need to hear the collab story. So why don't we start with you, Megan, and how you got into the business? Did it find you or did you find it?
Gosh.
Tough question, I know.
I mean, it kind of got slapped in my face, I guess, if you'd call it. I didn't enjoy what I was doing as an accountant. And my family was the one that said, before you go making decisions, what would you consider doing mortgages? And at the time, I had bought my first investment property and I was, very interested in real estate. So I said, sure, I'll give it a try. And my husband worked at a company that had a division that had a mortgage brokerage in it. So I went over and started working there. I left the accounting firm, took a huge pay cut.
Right.
And went and started working in the mortgage business. And I did that for about 6 to 9 months on the operations side until I watched the loan officers long enough helping people and wanted to do it.
Well, so wasn't your Laban's mom also involved in real estate also?
Yeah, my husband, my mother-in-law, and my brother-in-law all sold real estate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and so they were the ones who said, hey, why don't you try this? You are good with numbers. You like talking to people. This would probably be a good fit for you.
Right.
And that was what at least convinced me to try it.
Right. And it's not the kind of business that you just, I just always say it's not for the fan of heart. You got to be a little bit of a thrill seeker to jump in, right?
Yeah, it's embarrassing for me to say that how I became a loan originator instead of like working in operations. I'm a pretty risky person, I would say, but when it comes to security and, how I make a living, I wasn't risky there. And it took my husband, it's so embarrassing even saying this, took my husband literally coming to the office one day and sitting down with me and the owner of the company. And my husband told him she's going to be a loan officer in the next month. So, which if you know me and my husband, there's not much he tells me to do.
But he was that convinced. So good for him. And Dre, how did you get started in the business?
I was actually dating a realtor in State College, and he had a friend. I don't know if you know or remember Chris Kissel.
Yes, I do. Yeah, he was a mortgage guy. Yeah.
So he owned Access Home Lending, and my ex and Chris were really, really good friends. And Chris needed an assistant, and I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. And then I just kind of fell in love with it. I was in the restaurant industry before that, and I just fell in love with like the fast pacedness, the craziness. At that time, it was like the fax machine was going off, the emails were going off, the phone was going off. Like, because you were waiting for approvals via fax machine. So like that thrillingness of like what's coming across the fax machine. Like I got addicted to like, customer service and the fax machine and the phone ringing and the emails going off and like helping people. And yeah, I never looked back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the customer service, you hit it on the head. It's the same thing. You're serving people. And so you used to come into the office where I was working because we use the same title company, and I see you.
You were right downstairs.
Yeah. And you actually, neither one of you guys recruited. Mike Cawley is the one who recruited me to work for you guys.
Yes,
he was selling me his car, and he was selling me. And at the time, you guys were with Movement. And I introduced him to his wife, so at the least he could do is introduce me to my new family. But it didn't quite happen the way we wanted it in the beginning, where you were with a big company and then decided that wasn't for you. Talk about either one of you. Talk about what made you jump to a major company, and then what made you say this really isn't us.
So yeah,
I'll tell the beginning. I'll tell the beginning, and Megan can tell the end.
Oh yeah, great.
Okay.
In 2017, we just had an incredible year. Megan and I were really hitting our stride. as finally being business partners. I had a team, she had a team, and we were really just helping each other and jiving. And in a mortgage company saw that, a bigger company. So they came after us and they said, hey, we'd like for you to build out this footprint in Pennsylvania. And Megan and I started thinking, like, maybe there's more than to just doing loans, because Megan and I were the face of the company. We were the originators. We were talking to clients. We were doing the fee sheet. We were doing the presentations. We were networking. We were meeting with everybody. We were just hustling. We were the face of all the business coming in the door. And Megan and I, not that we were worn out at the time, but we thought maybe there's a next level to this. And we thought that this Kool-Aid we were being served is that this company was just a bigger version of what we were already doing, because Megan and I were very involved in the community with our people, training, operations, culture, like that was our thing. And so we thought, this is it. This is, just a bigger version, and we don't have to do a lot of the operations side of it. So it took about 6 months. They flew our whole team down. They flew like 15 or 20 people down. They rolled out the whole carpet, and Megan and I, we talked about it. I think it was close to like 6 months before we started in the summer, and we've made a decision in the fall, I think, before we said, okay, let's do this. So we just thought there was something bigger and better. And then I'll let Megan tell the rest.
Yeah, and building a business isn't easy. Like Dre was saying, it was a lot of work, right? In 2017, we were doing so many different things. I had 3 kids at that point, and a lot of people in my life were encouraging me when they found out there was this opportunity. I even brought my husband down to Virginia Beach because I don't know, like I didn't really want to do it because things were going so well. But I had never been on the retail side. I'd always been a broker, and I loved being a broker. And when we went down and visited the lender, and they pretty much convinced me that we can do everything you can do as a broker. We can even do more than you can do. I'm like, how is that even possible that you can do more? Because I always felt that the thing that I enjoyed the most about being a broker was that I truly, still to this day, I know that we offer and can advise people better than anyone else, because we are not held captive by one bank. Like when you go to one bank, they only have their products. So they have to sell something that I'm sure it's a great product, but it's not a great product for everyone.
Right.
And that was why I loved being a broker, because I knew every time I spoke to someone, I was picking out of all these options the best thing for them. And once I was told and convinced and given the Kool-Aid that they could do that, that was all I needed to know, because at least for Andre and I, our partnership was formed in, on the foundation that, hey, together we can do more than we can alone. So when we met this big company that kind of had that same message that, hey, you join us and we're going to elevate your brand. We're going to elevate what we do, what you can do for your customers, for your team. It just seemed like such a win-win for everyone that was important to us, to the point we had gotten to at that point that we literally had to say like, okay, our egos, we built this business and that's all great. But if we can become part of something else and help even more people, our egos aren't as important as being able to do that.
Right.
And so after we visited and they showed us some of the great stuff, which they have a really good platform to bring people into, and it looks great. And I think it's a good company, right? Like when I look at lenders, like there's definitely ones that if I had to go to a single lender, I think it's a good one.
Right.
It still isn't as good as being a broker. It's not as good for our customers. It's not as good for our team members. It didn't end up being what we thought it would be at all.
Right.